Hello, people. This is part two of this. I found the verse I was frustratingly looking for, or part of the verses I was looking for anyway. I want to continue this discussion. Jeremiah 31. 31 to 37. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with them with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which is my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. But this shall be a covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts. And I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, unto the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Thus saith the Lord, which has given the sun for light by day, and the ordinances of the moon, and of the stars for the light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves therefore roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from me before us, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the city which built the Lord from Tower Hill unto the gates, and okay, up to 30... Up to 37, yes. 31 to 37. Oh, yeah, 31 to 37, Jeremiah 31. I also want to read something else. For you people out there who seem to think that Israel has been forsaken for some particular weird reason. God has not given up on Israel. He never will. He never shall. He can't. He said he wouldn't, and he never has. Let's see. I say then, this is the Apostle Paul writing to the Romans. I say then, in chapter 11, I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I am also an Israelite of the seed of Abraham and of the tribe of Benjamin. God hath not cast away his people, which ye foreknew. What ye not that which the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets, and dig down thine altars. I am left alone, and they seek my life. But saith he the answer of God unto him, I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed their knee to the image of Baal. If so, then at the harvest present time there is also a remnant according to the election of grace. And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it works, then there is no more grace. With works is no more work. Basically, God has not given up on the Jews. That's basically what Paul is saying. You people who seem to think God has given up on Israel and have accepted the replacement theology of modern times. Replacement theology is literally saying everything that Israel was promised goes to the church, and that is unbiblical. God said in both testaments, by the way, that I'm not giving up on Israel. Israel is still my people. Jews are still my people. So I would really like to know why the church decided sometime in the 2nd century, let's throw all the Jewish stuff out. Let's get rid of all this. We don't need any of this Jewish stuff. God's rejected the Jews because they rejected the Messiah. No, a majority of people unfortunately rejected the Messiah. A lot of Jews came to faith in Messiah. The beginning of the church was all Jewish. They had several thousand Jews believing in the Messiah. I don't want to hear that somehow God rejected the Jews. It frustrates me to no end when I hear about, God's rejected Israel and God doesn't want the Jews anymore and God isn't concerned about the Jews anymore, blah, blah, blah. When scriptures clearly indicate, but it's not true. So it's another reason why Jewish Christian salvation is so difficult, because the church is so busy telling the Jew, you can't be a Jew anymore. You can't you can't appreciate your Passover anymore. You can't do this, that, and the other, but even resembles anything coming from the Old Testament. It's sad. It's tragic. It's frustrating. Because a Jew like me, I like Passover. I like the festivals. I like the feasts. I like the history. I like all the things that make Jewishness and Jewishness. It makes Jesus a Jew. Those are good things. They are very good things. There's nothing wrong with keeping Passover. I really wanted this videos to be fun. So far they haven't been fun. Not sure why. Oh, I know why, because I study history. I mean, the Bible clearly indicates that Jesus was a Jew. He is the King of the Jews. He will come back and rule in Jerusalem. He will reign for 1,000 years in Jerusalem in Israel. If he's forsaken Israel, what is he doing in Israel? Why is he going there? Why doesn't he go somewhere else? Because he's Jewish, and that's where God said he's going to reign. It frustrates me, I think, really, because it's like, I know what it says, but I'm going to ignore it as much as possible, and I'm going to rewrite whatever it says because I don't like Jews. And this is what it comes down to when it comes to the church and its history. Jewish history, when it comes to the church, has been one tragedy after another, one thing after another. Even when Jews became Christians, they were still treated like second-class Christians. They really were. And believe me, I know how that feels. Look, the church was made by Jews. It was created by a Jew who rose from the dead 3 days later. Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't anything else but a Jew. He celebrated the feasts of Israel. He celebrated Hanukkah. And that's not even one of the 7 feasts. I might have doing a second one of these videos. I got kind of frustrated because I couldn't find that verse that I could easily know because I've written a commentary on it. It drove me crazy. This book is Jewish. There's nothing Gentile about this book other than it says Gentiles can be saved. That's it. I mean, the scriptures are clear. I mean, they were looking for a Messiah. And yeah, unfortunately, modern day Judaism has made, chapter 53 of Isaiah be about the nation of Israel or the people of Israel instead of about the Messiah. They have. That's part of why if you quote Isaiah 53 to them, they won't listen because they've convinced themselves, thanks to themselves, and the last 2,000 years of history, that it's actually about Israel and not a person, despite the fact that it's describing a person. I mean, a Jew loves this book. A Jew loves the Bible. He loves his Torah. He loves his scriptures. He loves them. Jews love the Bible more than I think a lot of Christians do. And they appreciate the Bible. They got it all wrong in a lot of ways when Jesus showed up. But in a lot of ways, some of them didn't. They figured it out before it was too late. The religious leaders didn't want to hear about a Messiah. They didn't. They really didn't. I mean, this is a Jewish book. It's a Jewish book. It's a Jewish book about a covenant made with God. It said, I'm not getting rid of them. I'm not kicking them out. Jews are my people. I put them back in Israel in 1948. They're not going anywhere. And to listen to some people on the YouTube channels and claim to be Christians, you would think that that's just not what's happening. It's like, oh, what Bible are you reading? You're not reading the one I'm reading. I mean, my frustration is with history I can't change. I look, and I mean this sincerely. People at my church, they like the fact that I'm Jewish, and I let them know this. Every time I pretty much open my mouth in connection group, mostly connection group. Because that's where we talk about the pastor's sermon. And I like those kind of Bible studies. Those are my kind of favorite Bible studies where we talk about the sermon we just heard. Those I love. I don't like subject studies. I'm going to be doing the book of Acts in a couple of weeks now. For a while now. Apparently, that's if I recommended it. Apparently he liked the idea, which is fine with me. I like the book of Acts. I like history. It is a book of the church, a Jewish church. All the apostles are Jews. Jesus was a Jew. The Apostle Paul was a Jew. But it is about salvation to everybody. I mean, the Old Testament has moments of Gentile salvation, of Gentile witnessing. The book of Jonah is probably the best book of a Jew being sent to the Gentiles to warn them. Granted, that Jew didn't want to go. He didn't want anything to do with the Assyrians, and he wanted them all dead. But he was forced to go because of a fish. I know it's called a whale in some scriptures, but it says fish. It says they created. The fish was probably created for this one purpose. Probably wasn't an ordinary fish. But anyway, replacement theology is not scriptural. Replacement theology is literally what the first set, what the church quickly became when the apostles died. It was amazing how fast. It didn't even take 100 years for replacement theology to creep its way into the church. Replacement theology literally is Israel is irrelevant. The church is now Israel. That is not biblical. It is not scriptural. The church has a destiny, and Israel has a destiny. And in the end, they both come together. But they do have two different destinies. They have two different futures that eventually accumulate into one future. And this is what the 1,000-year reign of Christ is going to be. It's going to be the church and Israel. I mean, let's see. I'm not 31, you dummy. 31. Thank you. Keep going. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, and I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. That means the old covenant literally was blood sacrifices, was before Jesus came. The new covenant is salvation and grace alone. That is the new covenant. That's the new covenant he's talking about. Not according to the covenant that I made with them, with their fathers, his past Jews. I took them out by the hand of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Believe me, we kept breaking it. Although I was a husband unto them, we kept breaking it. But God never broke his covenant. We broke it. The Jews broke it. Not everybody. Some of us did try. But for the most part, God said, I'm not going anywhere. I haven't broken my covenant with them. They're going to constantly break mine at their end, but I'm going to keep my part. I'm going to keep my deal. I mean, it's very simple. And the Lord said, look, if those ordinances, for me, the ordinances of his creation can be explained completely and everything, okay, then I'll get rid of Israel. That's basically a paraphrase of this part that's, chapter 36. Sorry, verse 36. If those ordinances depart from me before, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. If the heavens above can be measured, which they can't, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, we know more about what's up there than what's down there. I will also cast the seed of Israel and all they have done, saith the Lord. Basically, when you can figure out everything about creation and everything else, then I will kick Israel out of my covenant. And that ain't going to happen. Because we humans can't fathom the universe, and we can't fathom what's below us. Anybody home? I'm not. I'm trying to do this when nobody's home. I mean, I'm probably rambling, and I don't mean to, but the history of the church and Jews has always been a little sore spot with me. It's the one thing that Zola Levitt really taught me well, is to study history and to understand the successes and the failures of the church and of Jews. The Jew should have realized who Yeshua was, because he told them. But unfortunately, the problem really, if you really think about it, to give them their fair defense, in my case anyway, is that they were under the oppression of Rome. They wanted Rome gone. They didn't want salvation from some spiritual something. They wanted freedom from Rome. And that blinded them. And really did blind them. It blinded them a lot. And it's sad, but it is the truth. I mean, the Apostle Paul says Israel, God has forsaken Israel. God hasn't given up on Jewish salvation, and He never will. I mean, anyway, I'm a little longer than I wanted to, but I wanted to do this part 2 because I wanted to do that verse. I wanted to quote that, talk about a little bit more, and I might do one more maybe, but anyway, I'm done rambling, or at least ranting on this subject for today. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Behave yourselves, people, because as you know, I will not. Later.